Hello, everyone. Thank you for putting up with all my reasons. This is reason number 7. Um, it's going to be a bit of a long one, but we'll get to it. Um, but really, this video is not meant to be comical in any way, and I just wanted to take some time to really just let the community know what it means to me. I mentioned at the pre-launch party um, how I'd sort of been discovered, but I didn't say who. I know some of you will know Jess Amaranthine. She has unfortunately left the community about a year and a half ago now, I would say, um, and it's really too bad. She was a wonderful poet. Um, she was extremely supportive and encouraging, and really absorbed your poetry, gave wonderful comments, and unfortunately, I think that stressed her out in the sense that and I think I've known a lot of people who've gone through this in the community, and I have as well. As you start out and you have some poets that you like and you follow, and you can follow them religiously, but then you're always discovering more and discovering more, and it can get kind of stressful. So um, just remember to, for your own mental health, just remember that there are other things in life and that you need to take breaks, and if you don't get to everybody's poetry in a day, it's okay, because there's just too much good writing. There's just too much good writing to absorb it all in a single day and still hold down a job or spend time with children or other people in your life, or just do other hobbies. So I just wanted to say that. But because it is such a great community, they're also understanding, and I think everybody's sort of in the same boat. I certainly don't expect everybody to get to my poetry every day, and I think most people sort of expect the same out of me, you know. But what's beautiful, there's so many things that are beautiful about this community, and that's sort of what I wanted to talk about. And one of those is just being able to interact with people who produce beautiful poems. Um, I'll admit that I was like a kid in a candy store when I first joined, because my eyes were alight with all these beautiful words, and you could talk about the poems. Sorry, I got a bit of allergies today. You could talk about the poems and give your feelings, your feedbacks, and the person who wrote the poem would write you back. And it may seem fairly obvious that that's the case, but you think about general interactions with art, in museums or galleries or whatever. It's not often you get to talk to the artist about their piece, so that made it really special. Um, I started here with like 500 followers, so and I was probably going to leave Twitter, because I had left Facebook about a year or so earlier for reasons of it just being filled with moral outrage, at everything, and I was headed down the same path with Twitter. We all know that Twitter can be a toxic place at times, and then I was shown this community, and it's a bubble of wonder. And it's not to say that there isn't drama and conflict in here sometimes, but um, it really is uh, an amazingly supportive place and an enriching place. Um, one of the things that I like about it is that it's a celebration of important human values that I don't think are valued enough about, within society at large. Things like vulnerability, humility, empathy, um, just the topic of poems can be hard hitting and real. It can be fun and silly. It can, there's just a whole spectrum of emotions that are displayed, and a lot of honesty, which is also something that we don't get a lot of, as emotional honesty. And sometimes, you can not want to talk about those things in real life, but you can put those feelings in a poem, and it makes what you're going through accessible to other people. And that's, one of the things that I think, if I were to try to understand what makes my poetry appealing to people, is that it is accessible. I don't consider myself terribly good at writing abstract poetry. There's some poets out there who their words are beautiful, but it's a little bit like abstract art. You're not exactly sure what it means, but there's a feeling you get when you read it. And I guess I maybe didn't consider myself that great of a poet when I first joined the community, because I just looked around me and I felt like maybe I was doing something wrong. But Lisa Allison told me one time that, it's not good to compare yourself to other poets. The most important thing is to find your own voice. Your poetry needs to have its own voice that is authentically you. And once she told me that, I started thinking along those lines, and I couldn't deny the reality of people liking and commenting, retweeting my poems, and it felt like a little bit of a dream. That just that, it's just like, wow, people, because people don't have to take the time to comment on your poetry. They don't have to, if they don't really like it, they'll probably just pass on by, or maybe they'll hit a like, but won't say anything. But after enough time, you start to get the feeling that, hey, maybe I'm doing something right here. Maybe I'm writing something that people can get something out of. And this community has made me believe in myself. So, here I am 2.5 years later. I have over 5,000 followers and a book coming out, and it's astonishing in some ways that I'm here, but I also know that I've written a lot of poems. I've tried to give back what Jess gave to me to other poets who have joined the community, and I know that I've made a difference in other people's lives. And that's one of the also amazing things about this community, is that when you put kindness into it, you can see the results, which is, the kind of world that we want to live in. But it seems so often that bigger world out there, that when you put kindness into it, it's hard to see the world changed, and so you kind of can look at this microcosm of supportive people who are comfortable with being open emotionally, and you can put your kindness into this community and you see it return. I think that when I think about my poetry and how it's evolved, I think I can't separate it from the support that I've received in this community. And I know that this book, while I chose poems that I felt were a good representation of me, this book just simply couldn't be possible without belief in me shown by so many people throughout the way, even before uh, Gabriella messaged me and said, she wanted to publish my book. But even that, she's such a wonderful poet herself that her belief in me just made me feel incredible. Um, and I try to make other people feel incredible about their work, because it really it really is, at least to me. Some people might not like some people's poetries, but I always, the poetry that speaks to me, I always try to say something and to let the person know that their words are having an impact on my heart. Um, and I think that's just a great thing to do. So many times, just a comment I've made about someone's poem has made, they've told me that it's made their day. Maybe they're embellishing a little bit, but maybe not. I know that I've felt that way before too. Sometimes, especially when I was new to the community, I mean, I was fangirling all the time. um, when some of the poets that I really admired, that I felt were sort of famous on here, and they would like and retweet or comment on one of my poems, and I was just like, it was just like the biggest treat, and it made my day. So um, as we come to my the date of my book release, I just wanted to really take the time to thank everybody. And in many ways, I already feel like you've you've already given me so much. And so part of the reason why I did sort of a series of humorous reasons to buy my book is because A, I'm not very good at self-promotion, but B, um, I already feel the gratefulness as if you've already bought my book. um, so, as another friend in the community told me, if you don't believe in your work, who will? And so, in that sense, I do think you should buy my book because I do believe in myself in a way that I didn't when I first started out, and it's really appreciated. Um, all that's been given me, and the thought that some people want to buy my book and have it sit on their shelf with my words in it, is also astonishing. But I think they're good words, and I'm proud of a lot of the poems in it. I mean, I'm proud of them all. There's some I'm more proud of than others, I guess, but they really, I do think, represent who I am as a person, and that's another thing I love about the community is getting to know people through their poetry, and you just see such beautiful people every day, and celebrating beauty is part of what poetry's about, whether we're talking about pain or anger or whatever. We're using the English language to create art, and I think when I think about my poetry, I like to paint pictures, and I can't paint, but I can paint pictures with words, and we see through our eyes, and a regular picture, and that picture is in our mind, but words can do the same thing. And I actually don't like to put a lot of pictures with my poetry, as you may have noticed, because I want you to draw your own picture using my words, and I think that's important. That's an important part of poetry for me. So I hope you'll buy the book, and it will paint lots of pictures in your mind. Thank you.